Hello and welcome to another How Sees It review. Today I'm looking at Hanabi, published by R&R Games and designed by Antoine Baza. The game is a cooperative game for 2 to 5 players in which players are trying to lay out a fantastic firework display. Basically, the concept of the game is that the firework powders have been mixed up, and you have, of course, thousands of people waiting for a fantastic fireworks show, and you and your teammates are trying to get the powders reorganized so that you can still put on a fantastic show for everyone waiting for the fireworks. In essence, what the game is a game where players are trying to lay out cards one in sequence 1 to 5 in each color. The game comes with 5 different firework colors, and the 5 different suits here for a normal game. They range in numbers. There's like 3 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and 1 5. There's also a kind of rainbow suit that has been added for different variants that you can play in the game. They can be wilds or just an additional color that you need to complete. And so there's a bunch of different ways that it suggests that you can use this variant. But we're going to go ahead and set those aside for now. The quality of the cards are very good, very nice quality cards. You also have in the game 8 of these blue clock tokens and 4 bomb or black fuse tokens. And those will help us keep track of kind of the game end and some of the actions that are available to you throughout the game. So game setup is very simple. You're going to go ahead and shuffle all the cards from these 5 suits for a normal game. Shuffle those all together. You're going to deal out 5 cards to each player for a 2 to 3 person game, and you're going to deal out 4 cards for a 4 or 5 person game. And you'll go ahead and set the lid as it suggests. You don't need to, but it's a good mechanism of keeping track of the tokens, as we'll discuss. And the very, very interesting thing about this game is the fact that each person, unlike most games where players hold their cards and try to keep everything secret from the other players, in Hanabi, it's actually the exact opposite. You will go ahead and you want to make sure that everyone can visually see your cards, while you are supposed to remain a little bit in the dark, so to speak, of what you have. And after everyone's been dealt, you'll be able to see everyone else's cards as they hold them up to you. So you can see what all your teammates have, and they'll be able to see what you have. And what happens is basically on your turn you can do 3 different things. You can go ahead and choose to play a card to the middle by stating so before and say, I want to play this card to the middle. And I can go ahead and I would play that. But what we're trying to do, again, is to lay out in sequence the different colors. So 1s first, then the 2s, 3s, etc. And again, there's 5 different colors. Well, if I don't know the cards on my hand, how do I know when I can play the card? One of the huge aspects of this game comes from these blue clock tokens and giving clues to your opponents. So I would go ahead and take a token, put it in the box, signifying that I'm going to go ahead and give one of my opponents a clue. Now, if this were their hand, showing them, you can give basically two different kinds of clues. You can give them clues about what numbers they have in their hand and what color. Okay, so there's two different ones. So when you give a clue, you have to tell them what cards all match that given clue. So I could tell my teammate here that he has 3 2s, this one, and this one, and I would point to them so that he would be able to remember what he has. Later on in the game, he would remember he has, okay, these are all 3 2s, but he wouldn't know what color they are yet. Or I could tell him he has this 1 3, or seeing that he has all different colors, I could tell him any one of these colors for a clue. You can say you have 1 red, or 1 green, 1 yellow, etc. So that's the clue giving. What else you can do is say you have actually surpassed, let's see, in a good example here would be if you had, let's see here, a 2, okay, if I already had a 2 laid down on the greens and a 3, and I knew from previous clues that this was a green 3. I knew it was a green 3, okay? So as one of your actions, you can go ahead and say, I'm not going to play a card, but I'm going to discard this card and discard it to the discard pile. Doing so, you gain back one of the blue clock tokens and pull it out of the box. So that's kind of the clue giving, and then ways that you can get back these tokens, because as you go through the game, obviously people are going to want to give out as many clues as possible. But you're going to get to a point where all the blue tokens are gone, and you don't really have the choice anymore of giving a clue because you don't have any tokens left. So now at this point you can either try to play a card to the middle, or you can choose a random card or a card that you know that you can get rid of to the discard pile to regain back a blue token. And that's basically the gameplay. The little fuse tokens, what that entails is if you were to play a card, let's say I was sure that this was a blue 1, but it's actually in fact a blue 2. I decide, okay folks, I'm going to play this. Everyone cringes as I turn it over because I do not have a blue 1. This blue 2 cannot be played to the middle successfully. It goes to the discard pile, and I lose 1 of my black fuse tokens. These cannot be regained, and once you have 1, 2, and the third one is taken away, revealing the explosion token, the game will end. You're trying to lay out all 5 cards in each color. Perfect score would be 25. If the game somehow ended with a miserable score of 4, or if the game ended now, you would end up with a miserable score of 4, 3, 4. And really, that's the game. It's really, really fun. The element of having your cards, not knowing what you have, knowing what everyone else has, makes for a really, really fun game. The components are good. The only complaint I have of this particular version or box is that the cards are really, really tight fit in this box. They do fit, but if you fit them correctly in here, they're kind of difficult to get back out. The actual box is nice, just I wish they would have made the box a little bit bigger. The instructions are good, very clear. They have some great illustrations on them. Again, they give some good variants with the different rainbow deck cards that you can add in. And yeah, that is Hanabi. I highly recommend it. Very enjoyable game. It's fun with 2 players, and it's fun with more. I think anyone looking for a nice light game. It's not really a party game as it's a strategy game, but it kind of has that somewhat feel since everyone kind of knows their cards. You can get into times where you're trying to think. You have some players who think they can kind of think hard enough that they can finally just deduce what their cards are. And some players will forget what they have, which can be frustrating at times. But usually, from my experience, it's been really, really fun. You can't blame people for turning over a card that doesn't fit into the middle of the table. But if you don't do that, it's a very, very fun game. So go ahead and check it out. Hanabi.